After the collision comes the blame game, and this is the latest play from the Sea Shepherd group. Video taken from one of its vessels appears to show the Japanese whaler Shonan Maru veer towards the protesters' speedboat Ady Gil and slice off its bow. Sea Shepherd claims its stationary boat was deliberately rammed. Shot from another moving ship on rough seas, it's hard to be certain of the angles involved, but it appears the Japanese ship does turn towards the Ady Gil, and that the high-powered trimaran seems to move further into its path just before impact. There was no admission of any fault on Thursday from Japan's Fisheries Ministry, which funds the whaling fleet.
We think it was caused by the Sea Shepherd's sudden approach to our ship, and we found the incident very regretful. Our research mission is a credible mission, permitted by the international agreement. The repeated obstruction by the Sea Shepherd is a dangerous activity. It could threaten the life and property of our mission, and it cannot be forgiven.
The Japanese have been coming down to Antarctica, and over the years they've killed thousands of whales.
Sea Shepherd's clashes with the Japanese fleet have been documented in a TV series. Stink bombs and flash grenades traded at close quarters. But never before have two craft actually collided. When it bought the former round-the-world powerboat last year, the protest group said its job would be to physically block Japan's whaling fleet. Still, its Kevlar armour was no match for a direct hit from a much larger vessel. Japan intends to take up to 935 minke whales this year for what it terms scientific purposes, a practice allowed despite an international ban on commercial whaling. Sea Shepherd's aim is to make Japan's whaling effort so fraught with difficulty as to be economically unsustainable. This collision, evidence that both sides are willing to take big risks in a dangerous high seas battle. Harry Fawcett, Al Jazeera.
Well, joining me now live from Wellington in New Zealand is Glenn Inwood. He works with a public relations firm that's been hired by Japan's Institute of Cetacean Research. Thanks very much for speaking to us. Firstly, there are investigations into that crash, of course, but from what it seems, looking at that video, is that the ship was heading directly towards the Sea Shepherd and could have veered away. What are the Japanese saying about the events leading up to that crash?
Oh, look, the ship was, the Shonan Maru, the Japanese ship, was actually moving away from the Ady Gil. You can't really see it, but the Ady Gil, I think, started her engines and moved forward at such a speed as to try to either cut off the Shonan Maru or tried to beat it or push it away further as it was moving ahead. And really, by the looks of the video, the skipper of the Ady Gil miscalculated, and that's when the collision occurred. If you have a look, and you can see from the Japanese video that's being supplied, is that the Shonan Maru was turning to port and it was trying to avoid any collision with them. But quite clearly, any responsibility for this collision lies with Sea Shepherd. It lies with the captain or the skipper of the Ady Gil, who were conducting 2 hours of harassment in close quarters, harassment of the Japanese vessels, and therefore they are the ones responsible for being in that position.
Well, the video, from the video, that is questionable, but of course the Australians are launching an investigation into what happened. We'll of course wait for the results of that. But the other thing they're investigating is the fact that there are claims that Australian planes had been chartered to spy on protest boats, including claims that your company itself chartered planes, Australian planes, to spy on boats, the anti-whaling boats.
Oh, look, I've seen those claims that are in the Melbourne Age. There's nothing in there that I can comment on. I'm sorry.
So you're saying that your company did not charter any boats and there's no spying on protest boats at all?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing in there that I can talk about.
Okay. What do you think of a possible, the possible proposal at the moment for independent monitoring of the oceans in that area of whaling activities?
Well, I think Australia has decided that against sending anything, and the Australian government made a decision, I think, earlier on today that it wasn't going to send any vessel down there. So really it's going to be up to the security ships of Japan to make sure that there any further direct vessel-to-vessel contact with the Sea Shepherd, but it's very difficult when their stated aim, the Sea Shepherd's stated aim, is to sink the Japanese whaling program. And so while they're going down with an attitude and a commitment and a goal and objective of that, then the security ships that Japan has down there are very necessary to avoid anything like this in the future.
Glenn Inwood speaking to us from New Zealand. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.